The over-under draft slot at 7.5, with them putting the favorite on him going under. All right, so let's bring back our guys, Mike T and Dan Graziano. Why has Fields fallen in this draft conversation? Because it felt like for 3 years in high school and then entering college, they were 1 and 1A, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields.
Yeah, and Kevin Sterling, when you go back to the 2019 season, he played just as good as Trevor Lawrence. I think a couple of things have happened. First of all, we keep hearing Mac Jones until this morning with what Tom McShay put out, that he's going to San Francisco. I think that's a referendum of what Kyle Shanahan believes. In talking to a number of teams, a lot of teams have Justin Fields ahead of Mac Jones and Trey Lance. So I think this is a weird year. Dan, you alluded to this earlier, that if you had 10 teams, you would have 10 different orders. So I think that's one thing. And then this is one of the mistakes we make as evaluators, which is we're going to beat him up because, hey, he didn't play great against Northwestern, he didn't look great against Alabama. Well, Trey Lance played one game this year. So it's hard to reconcile those two sort of competing thoughts. So I don't know if he's falling as much as there's just some difference of opinions on him.
Absolutely. I mean, it's eye of the beholder with quarterback. There's no question about it. And you talk to teams who like Justin Fields a lot, and you talk to teams who have come up with questions about, oh, well, we want to dig in more on, why he couldn't beat out Jake Fromm at Georgia, that kind of stuff. So you hear it, and I'm loath to say negative stuff about the young man just based on one or two people's opinions, but the point is you can talk to one team that says, yeah, we have Justin Fields ranked second or third in the class, and then the next team you talk to can have him ranked fifth, and they can give you reasons why, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not like there was some meeting of all 32 teams. They said, let's push Justin Fields down our board.
And Kevin, I think this bears noting. I think 5 quarterbacks are still going to go in the top 8, maybe the top 10. So at the end of the day, they're all going to go really high. 5 franchises are going to put all the chips in the middle of the table on them, including Justin Fields.
That's right. So it's about splitting hairs, right?
Yeah.
I like Justin Fields and Trey Lance and Mac Jones a lot, but I have to rank them because if I had the choice, I'd have to pick one. So how do you do it? And that's pretty much where this
Graz,
stuff
help us understand, too, specifically about this when you talk to people around the league. And this audience is probably trying to wonder here, hey, one of the games that he stood out, he outplayed Trevor Lawrence. Yes. He got hit hard, came back, and was fantastic in that Sugar Bowl in the playoff, right? So what happens here? How do we understand what is going on where he doesn't play football and then 3 months you hear his stock drop?
I mean, I go back to Deshaun Watson, right? I mean, he beat Alabama in the national championship game, but that wasn't enough to make him the first overall pick or even the first or second quarterback selected in his draft. Obviously, there are more things that go into it. These teams, and Mike, I'm sure, can speak to this, you don't really start drilling down on these guys in terms of an evaluation until what, January?
Absolutely.
I mean, so nothing. The fact that they haven't played doesn't necessarily matter because all the work has been done since the last time they did.
Appreciate the perspective, the insider there with Dan Graziano and Mike Tannenbaum. Now let's get more reaction. Let's go to L.
Yeah, I do. To Dan's point of what he's been hearing from people, why didn't Justin Fields beat out Jake Fromm? I would like to believe that this year has proven with what and how Kirby Smart handled his debacle at quarterback this year. He is not the best talent evaluator when it comes to who should be starting under center for his team. I do want to ask you, RC, though, why you think Fields is falling.
You know what? I truly don't know. I think Dan makes great points when he talks about the evaluation process really kicking off or starting once the season has ended. And maybe we're to blame. Maybe I'm to blame. Maybe a guy who met Justin Fields at 17 years old and saw him side by side with Trevor Lawrence and thought he was just as good, if not better, entering college. Maybe that's my fault. Or maybe me understanding that Jake Fromm is a white quarterback from Georgia that was a 5-star that led that team to the national championship, and Justin Fields is the incoming freshman. Maybe that's why I understand why he didn't start. Or I can look at 2019, see 50 touchdowns, 1 turnover, 1 interception, and say, you know what, that's an exceptional year. He should be drafted in this place. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe the way I see it is wrong. But it is about fit. It is about teams' individual evaluation. And what Mike T said is very true. People keep focusing on Northwestern. People keep focusing on Indiana, which if you look in those games, there's 8 bad throws, right? 9 bad throws. So over his 2 seasons, they have picked apart those things, and that's gone to his processing. That's gone to his ability to progress, to get through reads. And now Justin Fields will fall where he is. But we have to remember, Patrick Mahomes, number 10. Deshaun Watson, number 12. Aaron Rodgers, mid-20s. Good quarterbacks get drafted late sometimes and become Hall of Famers because they're in the right place. Justin Fields just might fall to the right place.
Yeah, and I'm certainly not calling him a Hall of Famer, but just recency bias alone, Justin Herbert. We had some of those same criticisms for him coming out last year. A one progression guy, makes questionable decisions, not necessarily has the pedigree, and he had a fantastic rookie year. Dan, why do you think, I know you've been looking at the tape, what would you say are your concerns at this point with Fields?
I think there's some mechanical flaws and deliberate with the football. There's a lot to unpack here, okay? I think, first of all, it's important to point out, and certainly I have been somebody who has learned over the last 6 weeks that we don't know if Justin is actually falling, all right? Like, we don't know that,
Sure.
and we will find out tonight. RC pointed out the Northwestern and Indiana game, and I think it's important for everybody at home because they hear Northwestern and Indiana, and they don't think like, wow, really good college football teams. Northwestern was the number one defense in America, okay? The number one defense in America. He played that game without his number one receiver. And then Indiana was the number 5 defense in America, okay? So, like, those struggles were against 2 of the top 5 defenses in college football. In both of those games, he was missing starters, okay? So that the context in that matters. I don't think there's been anybody on television in the media world that has disproved the on-field stuff that has been said about Justin Fields more than me. The progression stuff, I've totally used evidence to disprove it. The inability to read a defense, I've totally used evidence on tape to disprove it. But I do believe, and I think this is fair, that on the field, 2 things stand out. He's deliberate with the football. You know, his feet are pointed, his body's pointed, his head is pointed. I'm throwing the football there, everybody. And that usually will lead to some struggles in the NFL. So you got to figure out, can you get that out of his game? As a coaching staff, can you get that out of his game? And then today on NFL Live, we're going to do this tape where I do believe there's mechanical flaws with his throwing. And I'm going to show why. And those are real things that as an organization, if you don't have a comfort level with it, you don't have a comfort level with it. Maybe there's an organization that says, you know what? We don't believe that we can alter his throwing motion to the way that we want it.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.